Okay, sorry. Okay, I should have checked that before. Okay, so we're continuing from where we left off yesterday in part one of this lecture, which is Radharani's appearance day, Radhāṣṭamī 1931, Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura's lecture. Now, we have left off at the place where the sun is said to be inauspicious for the non-devotees because the sun decreases the duration of life for everyone. With every passing of day and night, with the passing of every day and night, our lifetime is robbed and we go closer to death, and our sense gratification is threatened by that death, by the imminent death. Now, not only that, as the body grows older, it becomes more and more miserable, and therefore the sense gratificatory opportunity, the opportunity for sense gratification is squeezed out of our life by the rising and setting of the sun every day. So the sun is inauspicious for the non-devotees, but for the devotees, it's very auspicious because here it is said, like how Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura very nicely said, due to the trajectory of the sun, the appearance day of the Supreme Goddess, who is fully imbued with rasa, has arisen in our own radiantly pure hearts. So the sun, with every passing of day and night, it reveals to us auspicious days of the Lord's appearance and Acharya's appearance, or the disappearance, all are celebrated. And in this way, or even Ekadashi, Purnima, so many things, and all of them have meaning. All of them we can, in fact, we only observe a few events of our sampradayas, acharyas, and incarnations of Krishna, but actually there are many more. If you want, we can. Optional. It's optional, but there are many days of the year. Almost all of the days are, with something or the other. Some Goswami's appearance day, some devotees in Chaitanya Leela or Krishna Leela, they are there. Their appearance day or disappearance day is mentioned like that. So, if you see in the Gayatri Mantra, of course, this is not usually revealed to everyone, but the last word, especially in the Brahma Gayatri, which is a salutation to the sun, I have mentioned this in the last episode, where in many ways the sun represents the Supreme Lord. That's why it's called Surya Narayana, and he is a pure devotee. He is the Sampradaya Acharya of the Surya Sampradaya, and Krishna personally spoke to him, as said in the Bhagavad Gita. So he is not only giving light materially but also spiritually, because he's giving the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And the sun is the eye of the Supreme Lord. So when the sun sees, then we can also see. With the mercy of the sun, we can see everything. So in this way, and also prakashayati tatparam, adityavagyanam prakashayati tatparam, Bhagavad Gita 5:16. This also we have showed that the sun, Krishna Surya Sama, Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like the andhakar or darkness. See, so the sun represents the Supreme Lord and the bright, the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. In fact, it's a dim reflection of Krishna's effulgence in the spiritual world, Brahma Jyoti. And also, prakashayati tatparam, Srila Prabhupada in one lecture on 5:16 of Bhagavad Gita, he used this word prakasha as Swayam Prakasha of Krishna, who is Balaram. And this Adityava Jnanam, this sun-like knowledge, radiates and dissipates Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. Just like when I think darkness, what is that verse? Darkness, cold, and fear are driven away by the rising of the sun. What verse is that? Just like Shoka, Moha, and Bhaya. All these, Shoka means lamentation, Bhaya means fear and moha means illusion, are driven away. Apaha, when the Krishna consciousness arises in our heart. Shoka moha bhaya apaha. We will just go to that verse. Yasyam vai shruyamanayam 176 yam Krishne parama purushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsah shoka moha bhayapaha. Simply by one's giving oral reception to this Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. So these three things go away, just like 11, 26, 31. Is that the one? 11, 26, 31. Oh. Just as cold, fear, and darkness are eradicated for one who has approached the sacrificial fire, so dullness, fear, and ignorance are destroyed for one engaged in serving the devotees of the Lord. Beautiful. Beautiful. Is there any other verse? This is like Niharam Iva Bhaskara. This is not exactly. The next verse. No. Darkness. No. This is the only one. Maybe this is the one. Is this the one? 11, 29, 37. Yeah, this is the one. 11, 29, 37. I think I need to remind. 11, 29. O unborn primeval Lord, although I had fallen into the great darkness of illusion, my ignorance has now been dispelled by your merciful association. Indeed, how can cold, darkness, and fear exert their power over one who has approached the brilliant sun? So, Aditya Vajnanam, which is in this 5:16 of Bhagavad Gita, Jnanena tad ajnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesham aditya vajnanam prakashayati tatparam. So when, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So Prabhupada said this Prakasha is Swayam Prakasha, Prakashayati Tatparam, and that is Balaram, who is the original Guru, right? Prakashayati here discloses, but Prabhupada also mentioned the other one, which is Prakasha, is Swayam Prakash of Krishna, which is a technical term. It's in the first expansion of Krishna, Balaram. Balaram is the original spiritual master who serves the Lord entirely, perfectly, completely, and who teaches others who glorifies the Lord in the form of Shesha, Ananta Shesha, and he teaches others how to serve the Lord. And Nityananda Prabhu is that manifestation or incarnation of Balaram in Chaitanya Leela. Now, in the Gayatri, Brahma Gayatri, of course, I'm not going to chant the entire thing, but the last word is Prachodayat. Prachodayat means enthuses or excites or inspires us. So prachodayat, so it is a salutation to the sun. So enthuses for the devotees, the sun enthuses because it brings forth these days of Ekadashi and all these festival days, and also even on a daily basis, morning. The sun regulates our activities. Of course, it regulates also the activities of the materialists, but their activities have no meaning. But the devotees' activities have meaning. So there is Brahma Muhurta, Ashtaprahara, the 8 divisions of the day, 24 hours. Each prahara is about 3 hours. So there's the Brahma Muhurta, then there is the sunrise, and then one chants the Gayatri Mantra 3 times during the Sandhyas. And throughout the day, there are so many activities which the devotees perform every day. So in this way, when they perform Krishna conscious activities, the sun actually enthuses them. And at the end of the day, they take rest, and then next day they get ready for the next day to again perform all the duties. So in this way, on a daily basis and on a regular basis, the sun enthuses the devotees to perform their spiritual activities and observe festivals, and in that way glorify the Lord every single day of their lives. So that is, for the devotees it enthuses, whereas for the non-devotees it depresses them. Although they enjoy, oh, sunrise, beautiful sunset, they're capturing, but taking photos and all that, but it's robbing them of their lifetime and robbing them of all their achievements, all that they have gathered in their life. The sun is just taking away everything for them. For the devotees, prachodayat, enthuses them. So this is the thing. So going back, it's a very nice way of how Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura explained how the sun is revealing all these things. Very, very, very observant and very deep observations Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura reveals to us all the time. So, so reading on, the roaming sun is revealing that supreme goddess. Therefore, today the demigods are also showing us great favor by revealing the secret. So the demigods, Raja Samasta Suramurti Rasesha Teja. The sun is the king of all the demigods. Raja Samasta Suramurti Rasesha. Of course, Indra is the king of the demigods, but the sun is also one of the chief demigods. In fact, Raja Samasta Suramurti Rasesha Teja. His planet is the king of all planets, because even Indra's planet is not as bright as the Surya. So when Surya himself is revealing to us the goddess Srimati Radharani, what to speak of all the other devatas, minor devatas. So continuing on, it is our duty to surrender unto one who is acquainted with that secret. The spiritual master, who is Sarvadeva Mayo Guru, who is the representative of all the demigods, he is acquainted with that secret of what? Of the Supreme Godhead, of the appearance of the Supreme Godhead and the significance of the Supreme Godhead. So we have to surrender unto such a person who is acquainted with the secret. A poet by the name of Manohar Das has said, Radha pada pankaja bhakta ki ash, das manohar karatapiyas. The hope of the devotees is that they may serve the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. That is also Manohar Das's desire. In fact, Srila Prabhupada's father, when Prabhupada was a small boy, then he used to invite a lot of sadhus, whether they were bogus or whether they were authorized or whatever. He would just respect everyone, and every time any sadhu comes to his home, he would always request them to bless Abhay, who is Prabhupada at the time. Abhay, please bless Abhay that he may become a faithful servant of Srimati Radharani. He would always, this was his only request, that make my son, please bless him that he becomes a servant of Srimati Radharani. And sure enough, he became. So, reading on, the exclusive aspiration of the greatest devotees of the Lord is service to the lotus feet of Radha. So I don't have the diacritics for this, so please excuse me. Śrī Rādhāṣṭamī Paramabhishtam hridad dharayan karhisyam tad anugrahena paramadbhutanurag paramadbhutanuragotsavah. Parama adbhuta anuraga utsavah. Very good. When will I relish? This is from Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, 259th verse. I don't know what. Okay, I'll just. Just give me a second here. Okay, so actually I found the verse. I will just show you on the screen. This is, let's see actually who is the author. Śrī Sanmodana Bhashyam on Śrī Shikshashtaka. Who's writing? Bhaktisiddhānta Thakur's writing. Śrī Sanmodana Bhashyam on Śrī Shikshashtaka, Shloka 5 means Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Vishmaya Bham Bhavam Buddha Kripaya Tava Pada Pankajasthita Dhuli Sadrisham Vishande. So in that, he is quoting Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi. I don't know what is the Shikhi Picha Mauli Manisham Tan Nama Sankirtayan. Oh, Dhyayantam Shikhipichhamaulimanisham Tannama Sankirtayan Nityam Taccharanambhujam Paricharan Tanmantravariyam Japan Śrī Rādhāpadasyameva Paramabhishtam Hridādhārayan Karhisyam Tadanugrahena Paramadbhutanuragotsava. Become totally absorbed in Krishna, whose crown is decorated with a peacock plume, and sing his name and glories constantly. Invoke his pleasure by engrossing yourself in serving his lotus feet and chanting the Mahamantra continuously. My most intimate and heartfelt desire is to become a slave of Srimati Radharani's lotus feet. By her causeless mercy, may I attain spontaneous love for her service. Especially the last part of these last two lines. It's by Prabodhananda Sarasvatī Ṭhākura. Okay, interesting. So in the comments we have this information. It's by Prabodhananda Sarasvatī Ṭhākura. I haven't done my due diligence checking that, but so Prabodhananda Sarasvatī Ṭhākura. So all right, going back to the lecture. Oh, in his Ashtapadis, Jayadeva has said, again, there's no diacritics, but I'm just like kind of guessing them and going. Kamsariraphi samsara. Kamsarirapi samsara. Kamsa Arih means the killer of Kamsa. Kamsarirapi samsara vasana bandha shrinkhalam radham adhaya hridaye tatyajavraja sundarihim. Kamsarirapi samsara. Nice rhyme. The enemy of Kamsa, Sri Krishna, abandoned the other beautiful damsels of Vraja and took Radha within his heart, for she was like a chain that tied him tightly to his supreme and essential desire to enjoy the rasa dance. Geet Govinda 3.1. At the Rasasthali, the arena of the Rasa dance, all the gopis are present with Gopinath, absorbed in playful pastimes of rasa. When Varshabhanavi, Srimati Radharani, arrived at the Rasasthali, she saw that unlimited gopis were dancing in a circle, all of them fully occupied in serving the Lord. Feeling sorrow within her mind, the daughter of Rishabhanu Maharaj thought, "Today my Krishna is in the hands of others. Today my own associates are busy enjoying pastimes with him." Thus, to nurture Vipralambha Bhava, which actually nourishes Sambhoga Rasa, rather than taking part, Varshabhanavi ran away from the Rasasthali. You see, this is the thing. So, when Radharani saw that Krishna was dancing with billions of other gopis, and she was thinking, oh, today Krishna is with someone else. Now, in a material situation, that would be jealousy. But in the case of Radharani, it externally appears like jealousy. Oh, today he's with them. Okay, I'll just walk away. But actually, it is to nurture the Vipralambha Bhava. Vipralambha is the service in separation, the mood in separation. What is the mood in separation? Sangama viraha vikalpe varamapi viraho nasangamantasya ekasya eva sange tribhuvanamapi tanmayam virahe. So in the Padyavali, 240th verse, there is this nice thing, statement by Radharani. She says that Sangama Viraha Vikalpe, if we consider association and separation from Krishna, Varamiha Viraho Nasangamantasya. The better one, the better of those, meeting Krishna and separation from Krishna. If you analyze, separation is better than meeting, because if I meet Krishna, I will see him only in one place, in front of me. But if I am separated from Krishna, the three worlds, the entire world becomes filled with only Krishnas everywhere. So I want to see Krishna more. So I would rather be away from him and enjoy his company rather than be with him and enjoy his company in a limited way. So in material world, this is not possible, because when you are missing someone, yes, they say separation makes the heart grow fonder, but you cannot actually associate with that person. You may think of that person, but that person does not know you're thinking of that person. So it's not the same. So we cannot be with that person when we think of that person. But Krishna being omnipotent and omnipresent and non-dual in nature, the thought of Krishna and Krishna is same. The name of Krishna and Krishna are same. The paraphernalia of Krishna and Krishna are same. The entourage of Krishna and Krishna are same. That's why we say Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastraya. We worship Guru as good as God, as good as Krishna, because he is the mercy incarnation of Krishna. So in this way, Krishna is absolute, and therefore Vipralambha is as good as Sambhoga, but because the heart grows fonder, there is a much more intense feeling of Sambhoga in Vipralambha. Sambhoga is basically meeting. Thus it is said here by Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura. He says, thus to nurture Vipralambha Bhava, which actually nourishes Sambhoga Rasa. Rather than taking part, Varshabhanavi ran away from the Rasasthali. So this is the inner meaning of why she walked away, not just like ordinary jealousy of, oh, other girls are dancing with Krishna, oh, he's not dancing with me, let me walk away and throw a tantrum. It looks like that. It is a tantrum, but these are transcendental tantrums. And those are actually not really tantrums, but actually they are greater meditations on Krishna. And this is a very deep subject. I don't have any qualification to speak on this, but let's go on. Thus, to nurture Vipralambha Bhava, which actually nourishes Sambhoga Rasa, rather than taking part, Varshabhanavi ran away from the Rasasthali. At this point, Jayadev Prabhu has written, Krishna, the enemy of Kamsa, suddenly broke away from the Rasasthali. Samsara Vasana Bandha Shrinkhalam. Samsara Vasana Bandha Shrinkhalam. With thoughts of Radha in his heart, Krishna abandoned all the other beautiful damsels of Vraja. Okay, let me go back to that verse. Tatyaja Vrajasundari. So here, Vrajasundari, the damsels of Vraja, the gopis, Shrinkhalam, Vasana Bandha Shrinkhalam. So, Radha Madhaya Hridaye Tatyaja Vrajasundari. So, he left all the gopis, Tatyaja Vrajasundari. See, and then he went to search out Radha. When someone rejects the shelter of Radhika, so this is another meaning of that Radharani leaving and Krishna leaving the Rasa Sthali. When someone rejects the shelter of Radhika, any expertise they may have in pleasing the senses of Krishna can never conform with exclusive heartfelt service to him. All the gopis are direct expansions of Radhika, and while they remain proudly under the shelter of Krishna's Sarvasva, Srimati Radhika, they can supply Krishna the topmost pleasure. While they remain proudly under the shelter of Krishna's Sarvasva, Radhika, they can supply Krishna the topmost pleasure. So, this is very important. Very nicely said. So, here it is said that the gopis were dancing with Krishna. But when Radharani was out of that dance, Krishna also left. So, in other words, here he is saying, Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura is saying, when someone rejects the shelter of Radharani, even if one is expert in serving Krishna, like the gopis, Krishna will not accept such service if Radharani is out of the equation. You see? So even the gopis were so perfect in serving Krishna, but because Radharani left, Krishna was not interested in the gopis' service anymore. So you see how much we have to always stay under the shelter of Srimati Radharani, which means that we have to stay under the shelter of our spiritual master, who is the representative of Srimati Radharani. At no point can we think that, oh, I have satisfied my spiritual master, now I can kind of disobey him a little bit. No. The moment we do that, we immediately fall away. It's very dangerous. It can cause disaster in our life. When someone rejects the shelter of Radhika, any expertise they may have in pleasing the senses of Krishna can never conform with exclusive heartfelt service to him. All the gopis are direct expansions of Radhika, and while they remain proudly under the shelter of Krishna's Sarvasva, Srimati Radhika, they can supply Krishna the topmost pleasure. So they can only satisfy Krishna when they are under the shelter of Radhika. When Radhika withdraws her shelter, the gopis become unattractive to Krishna. So you see how Srimati Radharani is so important. Even the gopis cannot serve Krishna without the mercy of Srimati Radharani. What to speak of us? Sriman Rasara Sarambhi Vamshi Vata Tatasthitaha Karshan Venu Svanayar Gopir Gopinatha Shriyastunah. Srimad Gopinath. This is the Prayojana Adhideva Pranati Mantra. The presiding deity of Prayojana, Sambandha, Abhidheya and Prayojana. The presiding deity of Prayojana is Gopinath. So, Srimad Gopinath nurtures the mellows that manifests during the Ras Leela, Prayojanadideva, love of Godhead, and especially Gopinath, which is the form in the Ras Leela, is called Gopinath. Because he is the Lord of all the gopis in the Ras Leela. So, and because that is the pinnacle of service, pinnacle of the goal of life, and therefore he is the overlord of Prayojana. division of the Vedas, the goal of life. So Srimad Gopinath nurtures the mellows that manifests during the Ras Leela. Standing at the shore near Vamshivata, he attracts all the gopis by the sound of his flute. May he grant us all auspiciousness. We will never assent to enjoying Sri Krishna Sambhoga without taking shelter of she who is his all in all. To shed light on this, the author of the Ashtapadi, Jayadev Goswami, reveals something that supplements the description in the Bhagavat when he says, Tatyaja Vrajasundari. As all the gopis danced in the Raslila, Krishna abandoned them in order to find Śrī Radhika, who resided in his heart. The fetters of the love of all the other gopis are powerless, weak, and susceptible in comparison to the bonds of Varshabhanavi, which are extremely strong and powerful. What a strong statement that is. I mean, gopis. What is that? Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargenaya Kalpita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu attested to the fact that the gopis' method of worship is the highest. There's no one who comes near to the devotion of the gopis. But here it is said that the fetters of the love of all the other gopis are powerless, weak, and susceptible in comparison to the bonds of Varshabhanavi or Radharani, which are extremely strong and powerful. That means how far? I mean, you may say, the gopis are the topmost devotees and Radharani is the chief of them. It sounds like, she's like a bit better than them, a tad bit better than them. No. Srimati Radharani is the first, and all the other gopis, whoever the leader of this rest of the gopis, is a far second. Far second. It's not like a near photo finish. It's a far second. Powerless, weak, and susceptible are the words used for gopis' love. Imagine. That's how powerful Srimati Radharani's love is for Krishna. All the gopis took shelter of Vrishabhanu Nandini's Adhirudha Mahabhava. Overwhelmed by Mohana, Madana, and other intense feelings of separation, they went to find Krishna. Adhirudha Mahabhava. So Rudha means very advanced. Adhirudha Mahabhava. Very advanced Mahabhava. Overwhelmed by Mohana, Madana, and other intense feelings of separation, they went to find Krishna. They all understood. Mohana means illusion. Madana means Cupid. Of course, in the spiritual context of the gopis and Krishna, it is a transcendental Cupid, transcendental seeming sex desire. It's not sex desire. It resembles that if we look at it from our position in the material world, but it's a totally pure relationship where there is zero tinge of sense gratification. So continuing on, they all understood that without taking shelter at the lotus feet of Varshabhanavi, Govinda's Sarvasva, Madhura rasa is never completely nourished. So if one wants to go into Madhurya rasa or Madhura rasa, one has to take shelter of Srimati Radharani. So even the gopis, they could understand that they cannot enjoy or they cannot have the company of Krishna without Radharani. All the loving sentiments with which the various gopis perform their services simultaneously exist in Varshabhanavi exclusively in their entirety. Whereas the gopis cannot, they may have partial expansions of what Radharani has for Krishna, the love, but Srimati Radharani has all the things that gopis have, all the good qualities that the gopis have, but in infinite quantity, because she's the self-same Krishna in female form. Deserting all the other gopis who were immersed in feelings of prosita bhartrika, etc., which I have no clue what it is. Prosita bhartrika. Must be some elevated devotional feelings. So deserting all the other gopis who were immersed in feelings of prosita bhartrika, etc., Krishna was attracted by Varshabhanavi's captivating charms since she possesses all these loving sentiments in full. Thus, he set out to find that personality who even attracts the all attractive one. The gopis are expansions of Radhika and are eternally a portion of she who is the original source. They could not bind Krishna, for he completely belonged to Radhika. Thus, she enticed Krishna, who attracts everyone from the rasa sthali. One can only understand such topics if the functions of the soul have awakened. Functions of the soul have awakened to the taste of madhura rati, divine love. But those whose hearts contain an intense mood of vatsalya rasa can also completely appreciate the sweetness and beauty of such pastimes. So that's why, this is a very, very highly elevated subject, not really for us, at least not for me. But we have to worship the words of the Acharya, and Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura himself spoke this. So although it is from a very high platform, we should understand the principle, although we cannot really enter into the full mood of it, far from it. But at least we understand and revere that standard of devotional service. So here it is said, one can only understand such topics, but we can actually get a glimpse. You see, by the mercy of the Acharya, we are able to understand something. I mean, although we don't understand the full, all the feelings and everything fully, but we can intellectually understand a little bit. I mean, at our level, we can understand something, right? We can understand the importance of Srimati Radharani and how even the gopis, being expansions of her, can only partially display her opulences, but she has everything in infinite quantity. And only those who are in Madhura Rati or Vatsalya Rasa or Vatsalya Rati can appreciate the sweetness and beauty of such pastimes. So, all the gopis came to participate at the Rasa Sthali, attracted by Krishna and charmed by the sweet sound of his flute. Again, when Varshabhanavi, the complete embodiment of Madhura Rati, desired to offer service, then the object of our service, Nandanandan Gopinath Radharaman, discarded the general attraction of all the other gopis and was captivated by Sri Varshabhanavi's charm. He who is the most attractive became attracted. Therefore, when liberated jivas attain the eligibility to fathom Radhika's identity, they consider the following. Okay. Now, this is a very important principle that we need to take advantage of. Actually, this is the only loophole we have. He who is most attractive became attracted. So, he who is most attractive became attracted. So, this is very important for us to know because we want to attract Krishna. Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura said, don't try to see God. Act in such a way that God wants to see you. So, when would God want to see us? Why would God be attracted to us or to see us or notice us? When we know what attracts God, what attracts Krishna, if we know that secret, then we will have a clue on how to attract Krishna's attention. And so, this he who's most attractive became attracted. So, we should immediately become interested in that topic. Oh, he became attracted by something. So, what is that? Oh, Radharani. So, I must satisfy Radharani, then I can attract him. That's the loophole to get to him. Otherwise, directly, Name Bhaktaśta Tejana, Yesham, what is that? Yeme Bhaktajana Partha. Those who consider themselves my devotees, I don't consider them my devotees. So, bhakti or devotional service, which is personified by Radharani, because as we know, her name Radha is the origin of the word Aradhana, to worship. So she is the embodiment of worship of Krishna. So the worship of Krishna is more attractive than Krishna himself. Okay. So much so that even Krishna becomes attracted by the worship of Krishna. Because he is attracted to Radharani. And that's why he sells himself to the devotee. Right? And it is so attractive that it's more attractive than Krishna himself, which is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, what is that fourth verse? न धनं न जनं न सुंदरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahetu kitva. And many other devotees also prayed in the same way, that I don't mind being in this material world, life after life after life, as long as I can have your devotional service. Notice that they did not say that we want to come back to you and we want to be with you. They said, we want to be able to serve you. We want that service of Krishna. We don't mind if we are not with Krishna. What? So, of course, when you serve Krishna, you are with Krishna. But that is because Krishna is attracted to his service. Sri Krishna Karshini Chasa. So, let's go there. So, if devotional service attracts even Krishna, that we have learned, right? So, you see, Klesha Ghni Shubhada, these are the 6 effects of devotional service or features of devotional service. And the last one I want to point your attention to this. Sri Krishna Akarshini Chasa. So, it attracts Krishna. Why will it not attract the devotee? That's why the lives of the devotees are more inspiring than the life of Krishna. Yes, Krishna is inspiring and he's all powerful and everything. But you know, the loving exchange, the love, the beautiful prayers that the devotees compose and how they serve, their behavior is even more attractive than Krishna's opulences themselves. Because Krishna can be opulent and, you know, it's like without relation. You're revering Krishna for his extraordinary opulence. Like Arjuna, he was seeing the universal form and he was astonished and even afraid of how grandiose that whole display was, and it kind of distanced himself from Krishna. The love that he felt with Krishna as a friend was stunted when he saw that grandiose display. So, if anything, when we understand the full, of course, we should understand the greatness of Krishna. We should know. Prabhupada many times said, we should not just be satisfied with knowing that God is great. We should actually know how great God is. So that is a especially for us. I mean, we are absolutely fallen. So we really need to understand why we should worship Krishna. He's the supreme, and you know he's demonstrating his supremacy. He's proclaiming his supremacy. Great sages, great personalities of the universe proclaim his supremacy. So all that is important because we need to 100% be convinced of the fact that we are subordinate to Krishna. In all ways, we have to understand that Krishna is the supreme and we are his subordinate. Because the problem where we are in this material world is because we wanted to be the supreme. Just a second here. We wanted to be the supreme. That's our real problem. That's why we are here. So, the antidote to that diseased condition, is to absolutely be convinced of the fact that Krishna is supreme and I'm not. And Prabhupada actually once defined humility like that. What does it mean to be humble? One devotee asked. Prabhupada said, to me, to be humble means to understand, to realize that Krishna, to realize that nobody, myself included, nothing in this world is able to protect us and save us except Krishna. That is the definition of humility. Something to that effect. Now you may think, what? Nothing other than Krishna will save us. And that is humility? Now you may think, why is that humility? Humility means I should just be like, very meek, and I should not think highly of myself. That is humility, right? Why thinking that Krishna is the only source of our shelter and nothing else is our shelter? Why that is humility? Because once, the moment we do not have conviction in that, we come up with this ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate, because we want to do something to save ourselves. We want to. That's how we take up the um, kartaham role. I am the doer. I have to do. Otherwise, it will not work. So that kind of thing, that mentality, springs forth from the misunderstanding that yeah, Krishna is there, but I need to do. So that thing where I need to, I am the doer, that kind of mentality is the cause of our lack of humility. So we have to depend on Krishna and use everything in His service and understand always that He is the only shelter, nobody else can save us. We should have zero confidence in ourselves. The moment we have confidence in ourselves, that's false ego. A pure devotee has confidence in Krishna. Now you may say, no, but we should also have some confidence, right, in ourselves. You know where the confidence comes from? By being always faithful to Guru and Krishna. The confidence that we have in ourselves, if we have, is only because Krishna is um, choosing to invest that potency in us. For example, playing the mridanga. Now, I am confident of playing in the kirtan, say, for 3 hours, 5 hours. Yes, I'm confident. But why am I confident in myself? Is that kartaham? Not really. It can be. It can be. But if we take it in the proper consciousness, it doesn't have to be. The confidence I have is because Krishna has invested that strength in me that I can do it. Now, if he wants, he can withdraw that strength. If I get a stroke or something, then the nervous system breaks down. I can't even move my hand. I may become paralyzed. So that can happen. Or I may forget. I mean, something may happen. I may forget how to even play. Some accident can happen or whatever can happen, and I can forget how to play. So anything can happen at any time. So if we are confident in our ability, it's because Krishna has invested us or empowered us to do so. It's only because of His empowerment that we are confident in that ability of ourselves. But we should always be conscious that it is because of Krishna that I am even confident in my ability. If He wants, He can withdraw. So that is humility. To always realize that Krishna is the background of all this, not me. So anyway, so that's Sri Krishna Akarshani Chasa. It's very attractive to Krishna, devotional service, and therefore devotees also, they are not really eager to go back to Godhead, but they are very, very eager to, even if they stay in this material world, they want service. That is a non-negotiable for them. When the Lord wants to even take them back, they are not asking for it, but they will ask only for one thing. The devotees ask for the opportunity to serve Him life after life. In fact, serve His devotees life after life. So that thing they will ask. You see, in the whole of Sikshashtakam, there was no request of anything from the Lord in all the 8 verses, except for one thing. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhakti rahaitu kitvayi. So let me always be engaged in your service. Of course, he also said, make me as a dust in your um, at your feet. But that also means to be engaged in service. There's no difference between engaging in service and staying as a dust at the feet of Krishna. And when will the tears come and all these things. So the request is of service. So that's the thing that devotees will never give up on. They may give up on even the spiritual world and association with Krishna. Of course, if Krishna accepts or awards them, they won't deny it. Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya, Sarupya. These four types of, because there are 5 types of liberation, right? I think I will show that. Three 13. सालोक्य साष्टि सामीप्य सारूप्यैकत्वमप्युत दीयमानं न गृह्णन्ति विना मत्सेवनं जनाः. This is the exact verse. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, salokya, sarshti, samipya, sarupya, or ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, this is not complete. See, vina matsevanam, that's the real point here. Vina matsevanam, without my devotional service, they don't want any of these things. Salokya, sarshti, samipya. That means to be on the salokya means to be on the same planet as the Lord. Sarshti means to have the same opulence as the Lord. Samipya means to be close to the Lord. And sarupya means to have the same form as the Lord. The devotees don't want this if there is no devotional service. Vina matsevanam jana. If the devotional service is not there, then these things they don't want. What is the point of having living in the same planet as the Lord, but if I can't serve? What is the point of having the same opulence as the Lord if I can't serve Him? What is the point in being close to the Lord if I cannot serve Him? What is the point in having the same form as the Lord if I cannot serve Him? Without service, all these things are meaningless. That's what the ekatva, of course, is merging into the Lord where there's no service at all, there's no opportunity of service. So, without vina matsevanam jana, if there is no devotional service, they don't want any of these things. They don't want association with Krishna also. In the Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya, Sarupya features, they don't want to associate with Krishna if there is no devotion to Krishna. So, and who is devotion to Krishna? Who is the personification of devotion? Radharani. So, pure devotees, they don't want to be with Krishna if the Radharani is not there. If bhakti is not there. But if bhakti is there, even without Krishna, they can live. Bhakti is non-negotiable. Krishna is negotiable or not? Krishna is negotiable. Bhakti is not negotiable. But of course, when there is bhakti, there is Krishna, because Śrī Krishna Akarshini Chasa. So when there is bhakti, then it attracts Krishna. So Krishna is duty bound to come when there is bhakti. So if we chase after Krishna, Krishna may be elusive. We may not get him. But if we chase after Radharani, because Krishna is chasing after Radharani, if Radharani gives us shelter, Krishna cannot deny. Krishna cannot deny. So this is why devotional service is more potent than Krishna himself. So going back to that article, oh yeah. So because Radharani's position is so high, therefore when liberated jivas attain eligibility to fathom Radhika's identity, they consider the following. This is from the Nectar of Instruction, right? Upadeshamrita 10. And here is 11. कर्मिभ्यः परितो हरेः प्रियतया व्यक्तिं ययुर्ज्ञानिना स्तेभ्यो ज्ञान vimukta bhakti paramah premaikaniष्ठास्तताः तेभ्यस्ताः पशुपाल पङ्कजदृशस् ताभ्योऽपि सा राधिका प्रेष्ठा तद्वदीयं तदीय सरसि तं नाश्रयेत् कः कृते. The Jnanis have attained the distinction of being dearer to Lord Hari than those who follow the path of karma. So karmis, Jnanis, there are there. So Jnanis are more dear to Krishna than karmis. Okay. Even dearer to the Lord than the Jnanis are those who have abandoned knowledge, understanding that the path of bhakti is higher. So the bhaktas are higher than Jnanis. So they are dearer to Krishna than the Jnanis. Jnanis are more dearer than karmis. Bhaktas are more dearer than Jnanis. Even more superior are those who have attained love for Krishna. Among all the bhaktas, there are sadhakas, there are raganugas. Among all of them, those who have attained prema, they are highest. They are more dear to Krishna. Even more superior, the gopis are most exalted of all. Of all those perfected devotees who have attained prema in all the five rasas, the Madhurya rasa is highest. In Madhurya rasa, there are two divisions, Swakiya and Parakiya. Parakiya is higher. So the gopis embody this Parakiya rasa, and therefore they are the most exalted of all perfected devotees. And amongst them, Sri Radhika is certainly the dearmost of Sri Krishna, and by far, not by a small distance, by far. And Radha-kunda is as dear to Krishna as she is. Therefore, which fortunate soul will not take shelter of Radha-kunda? Of course, if I am at Radha-kunda, taking shelter of Radha-kunda does not mean just living by the banks of Radha-kunda and taking bath in Radha-kunda. In our mind, in our heart, are we actually serving Radharani? If we are not Krishna conscious, are we conscious of Srimati Radharani, or are we physically present, mentally absent? So physically present, mentally absent from Radha-kunda is useless. Fully, spiritually, physically, mentally, we have to be present at Radha-kunda, and that is called taking shelter. Taking shelter means execute the order of Radharani. So even if you are away from Radha-kunda, if we serve Radharani's mission by following the instructions of the spiritual master, we are actually glorifying Radha-kunda and all the pastime places of Radha and Krishna. Those who are distributing books on the streets of Asia, Europe, America, distributing Prabhupada's books, they are actually serving Radha-kunda. They are serving Radharani. So it is not that they are far away from Vrindavan, far away from Radha-kunda, but they are actually at Radha-kunda. So this is the spiritual truth. It's non-different. When we serve, we are non-different. We are always already with that person. When we serve Prabhupada, we are with Prabhupada. When we serve Radharani, we are with Radharani. So like that. When we're chanting Hare Krishna, we are already with Krishna. So this is the last verse of Upadeshamrita. कृष्णस्योच्चैः प्रणयवसतिः प्रेयसीभ्योऽपि राधा कुण्डं चास्या मुनिभिरभितस्तादृगेव व्यधायि यत्प्रेष्ठैरप्यलमसुलभं किं पुनर्भक्तिभाजाम् तत्प्रेमेदं सकृदपि सरः स्नातुराविष्करोति. It has been established by great sages that amongst all the beloved Vraja gopis, Sri Radha is Krishna's most treasured object of love. Similarly, her kunda or lake is just as dear to him. Kunda means lake. Her kunda is as dear to him. One who bathes even once in the waters of Radha Kunda attains love for Krishna, which is extremely difficult to achieve, even for great devotees, what to speak of ordinary devotees. So it is said that even Narad Muni does not get the opportunity to go to Radha Kunda and live by the banks of Radha Kunda. Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura said that. In the purport of Upadeshamrita, this verse, you can see even such great devotees as Narad Muni does not get the opportunity to go to Radha-kunda often. But those who stay there, how exalted they are. But that does not mean that if one is staying there and engaging in illicit sex life, he is greater than Narada. Absolutely not. Yeah, forget it. So it is the consciousness. The presence at Radha-kunda is the consciousness, not the physical body. Yes, physical body, we should visit the place of Krishna's pastimes, but real residence at the holy dham is when our heart becomes the dham of Krishna. Mama mana mandire rahanishidi Krishna Murari Shri Krishna Murari Mama mana mandire. So the mandir, the temple, the dham, the holy place should be in our heart. If our heart is full of nonsense, we can be in the dham, but we are not in the dham actually. The holy dham of Krishna is very unique, very divine, because it affords the opportunity for purification of both the novice and the experienced. The novice, when he sees the places of Krishna's pastimes, he becomes enthused. Oh, this is where Krishna did this is where Krishna did that, and this is where Radha Krishna did this. So, in this way, there are pastimes, and it is good to visit all those places. But the real residence at the dham, he actually cannot have. It's just beginning. In the physical realm, he is associating with the dham, but spiritually, he's not yet there. He does not know the full nature of Vrindavan, where every tree is a kalpavriksha. We cannot see like that. So that means the dham is manifesting at different levels to different devotees. Um, so the novice can go there in the physical realm and appreciate Krishna and adore Krishna's pastimes, and the most advanced devotees also can relish the full cognizance of the dham, which the novice devotee does not have. And this is explained by Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura and Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Navadvip Bhavataranga. That Navadvip, Ishodhyan, the garden of the Lord, is, for an ordinary person, it appears as a place with ordinary articles or ordinary items like a bucket and something. But for the spiritually self-realized, it is the most beautiful garden of the Lord. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually describes in Navadvip Bhava Taranga the beauty of the Lord's garden, Ishodhyan. But when we see Navadvip, we don't see all those descriptions at all. So what is he seeing and what are we seeing is different. So the same dham appears differently to different grades of devotees, and nonetheless it is purifying for all of them. This is very unique about Krishna's dham. And the same with his name. And the same name is relished by sometimes when he goes singing on the street, Hare Krishna. Sometimes people will like, oh, very nice, their dance. So he's appreciating. And the pure devotee, he's appreciating at a different level. The same holy name, but different devotees are appreciating at different level according to their depth of realization, depth of their devotion. So it is this, Krishna is the same, or his dham is the same, but the level of devotion determines how much of it is revealed to us. So Krishna is always there, but the devotion is what gives us the eyes to see. Bhakti vilochanena. So we have to have, the bhakti is the real factor, devotion, which is personified by Srimati Radharani. So even if we see Krishna, we cannot understand Krishna without the mercy of Srimati Radharani, without the conduit of bhakti, without the lens of bhakti, without the salve of bhakti, we cannot understand Krishna. We cannot see him even. Even if we are right in front of him, we cannot see him if we don't have bhakti. Only those who have bhakti can see Krishna. So reading on, Śrī Radhika is the abode of Sri Krishna's intense love. Sri Radhika is the abode of Sri Krishna's intense love, and amongst all other dear associates, she is the most illustrious and the most beloved in all respects. Uddhava and other great devotees pray for the dust of the feet of the gopis, and all the gopis consider themselves most fortunate if they obtain her shelter. So Uddhava is one of the most confidential devotees of Krishna, and he is desiring to become a dust at the feet of the gopis, and those gopis consider themselves fortunate if they obtain Radharani's shelter. The topmost devotees, the topmost devotees who are drawn towards Madhura rasa and who have reached the topmost levels of devotion to Bhagavan, take refuge in the land of Varshabhanavi's pleasure pastimes and bathe in her lake Radha-kunda. With a sentient attitude, they constantly bathe and reside there. Those who have loyalty towards Shaibya and Chandra do not even have the qualification to drink there. So, what is Shaibya and Chandra? Those who have loyalty towards Shaibya and Chandra do not even have the qualification to drink there. To constantly reside on the banks of that lake and to bathe there with a mindful attitude is not achieved by any common fortunate person. Shaibya and Chandra. I don't know what that means. Shaibya are other gopikas who compete with Radha, isn't it? You mean Chandravali and Shaibya? I thought Shaibya is a male name. Shaibyascha Narapungava, is it there? Shaibyascha Narapungava. You see, this is one of the heroic fighters on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So he was a man. Shaibya and Chandra. I don't know what exactly it means. To constantly reside on the banks of that lake and to bathe there with a mindful attitude is important, is not achieved by any common fortunate person. So long as the divinity of Varshabhanavi's youth and nature does not become the subject of our reflection, we will never fully comprehend the glories of achieving her shelter. Very interesting. You know, when we meditate on things, we are associating with them subtly. If I meditate on an envious person, I am meditating on his envy. So, so our meditation brings about our qualities, vasana, satsanga. What is that? Yasya sangatihi pumso manivat satadgunaha swakulardhyan swakulardhyay. Oh, wait a second. यस्य यत् संगतिः पुंसो मणिवत् स्यात् स तद्गुणः स्वकुलध्येय ततो धीमान् स्वयूथान्येव संश्रयेत्. Let me show you this verse. So as you can see here, yasya yat sangati pumso manivat syat sa tadguna. As the qualities of a nearby object are reflected in a crystal, one similarly takes on the qualities of a person with whom he associates. So, this association does not mean only physical association, but to think of that person. Then we um, take on the qualities of that person when we meditate on that person. So, um, we should, as you can see, go back to the. So, if we meditate on Varshabhanavi's, what is it called? Youth and nature, which is mentioned in this lecture here, then we will start to comprehend the glories of achieving shelter. So, when we think of Radharani's good qualities and all the ways she serves Krishna, then we will also develop those qualities in our own minute way to serve Krishna. We can always be inspired. Why? Why are there descriptions of great devotees in the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and why it is important to read these books? Why? So that we become inspired by the examples of the devotees that are there in those books and imbibe those qualities in our own life. So, many times we will face challenging situations in life in our devotional service, and when we think of how the great devotees um, went through such challenging or much more challenging situations than ours, then when we meditate on those qualities, it's easy to say, oh, they are great devotees, that's why they could do it. I am not that great, so I can't do it. No, that's not the right attitude. The attitude is, yes, I am not that great, and I cannot tolerate or I cannot face this challenging situation as they did. But by meditating on them, by their mercy, I am not there yet. That's why I have to request their mercy. I have to request the. Um, that's why there's what is it? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing. Ekaki amar nahi paya bala harinam sankirtane. Alone, I have no strength to chant the holy name. This Trinadapi Sunichana Tarora Bisarishna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. So, to be able to constantly chant Krishna's name, constantly glorify him, Kirtaniya Sadahari means chanting Krishna's name and also glorifying or preaching his name, glorifying him. Kirtan. Kirtan comes from the word Kirti. Kirti means fame. Kirtan means to make him famous, to glorify him, basically. Of course, he's famous, most famous, but to glorify him. So, Kirtaniya Sadahari, either to chant his name or to always be able to preach, we have to be humble. And usually, humble sounds like, oh, give up our strong willed nature, or become soft and pliable and trampleable. People can trample on us and become weak. No, only the strongest person can be humble. The strongest person can be tolerant. The strongest person does not expect respect for himself. The strongest person is the one who respects everybody else. It takes immense strength of character and mental fortitude to be able to do that. It's not easy. Weak people can't do this. We are all weak. So that's why we have to, when we meditate, what are we doing? Why are the examples of pure devotees mentioned in the Bhagavatam? Oh, they are pure devotees, they can do it, I cannot do it. Then Haridas Thakur chanted, I cannot chant. Let me not chant. Let me not do anything then. Let me be a pig eating stool. That one I can do. Right? What is the point then? Why are we in the devotional service even in the first place? Why are we even, what are we even attempting in devotional service? What are we trying to gain? What are we trying to improve? Where are we trying to go? So the point is, we are at this level. The pure devotees are at that level. Now we have to reach there. How are we going to reach there? No, I will never reach there. I'll take my lifetimes after lifetime. No. By their mercy, we can reach there. It is always not on our, yes, I am not there, I cannot. Yes, I cannot. I cannot. But by the mercy of the devotees, by the mercy of Krishna, I can. That is humility. Humility means not having confidence in my own ability, but in Krishna's ability, in Krishna's mercy, in the devotee's mercy. You know, there's a beautiful verse in the Antilila of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, here. Oh, not this one. Um, what is that verse? Yashtidanena. Come on. Yeah, Antya 1.2. Searching 2.1 and 2.2. Okay, so you see, this is a very beautiful verse. This is exactly what our attitude should be. दुर्गमे पथिमेन्धस्य स्खलत्पादगतेर्मुहुः स्वकृपायष्टिदानेन सन्तः सन्त्ववलम्बनम्. This is how we should approach. Yes, I'm not there. Yes, I do not have the strength of being humble and tolerant and respecting everybody and not expecting respect. But this is how I should take it. Not having any, but if I say I don't have this, that means I'm thinking I'm the doer. And since I can't be the doer. I can't do this. That's what I'm thinking. So the right attitude is, yes, I'm not the doer. I cannot do it. But by their mercy, I can do it. I can become their instrument. So here, my path is very difficult. I am blind and my feet are slipping again and again. That means repeatedly I'm falling in this path of devotional service. I'm making so many mistakes. I'm blind. I do not know what is even right for me. My path is difficult. I'm unable to even cope. I'm unable to do things which I'm supposed to do. Therefore, may the saints help me by granting me the stick of their mercy as my support. You know, here the analogy or the metaphor is of an old man who is having a walking stick. His feet are slipping. He is becoming blind. He's old. His path is difficult. He's unable to navigate himself. So he wants a walking stick by which he can have some support and then he can walk. So we are meditating on the pure devotees and their qualities so that, and we are seeking their mercy, so that we may become an instrument, and a small minuscule portion of their qualities may, we may be imbued with those qualities. Requesting them, please give me strength to be tolerant. Please give me strength to be humble. Please give me strength that I can respect everyone. Please give me strength that I do not expect respect from anyone. Then kirtaniya sadahari. It takes strength, spiritual strength. What is that? Achyuta bala. Achyuta bala. Achyuta bala means it requires spiritual strength to do these things constantly. Because kirtaniya sadahari, if I have to chant all the time, if I have to preach all the time without being disturbed at all, I must be in a position where nothing disturbs me. And when do I get disturbed? When these four things are missing. Trinadapi sunichena, tarorapi saishna, amanina, and manadena. When these four things are not met, there will be a turbulence in our mind. And the Kirtaniya Sadahari cannot happen. So, when we are not there, then we seek mercy. When we seek, this is what prayer is all about. This is how we grow. When there is difficult situation, I'll show you another verse. So, this is about praying to devotees for their support, right? And then there is this verse. कथंचन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्री चैतन्यं नमामि तम्. Things that are very difficult to do become easy to execute if one somehow or other simply remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. If we remember, to this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my humble obeisance, respectful obeisances. So you see, difficult things, just because they're difficult, I cannot do. No, no, no. That's where prayer is for. That's how we become Krishna conscious. When things are difficult, we pray to Krishna, please, Krishna, I am completely blind. I have no intelligence. I have nothing. Please give me some strength to understand this and to conduct myself in Krishna consciousness through this. So that should be our prayer. And of course, we can approach devotees for advice and everything. But also, we have to internally, we have to know how to pray. And not just pray. You know, important thing about prayer means not just give me some mercy. What is that mercy? How that mercy will come? How does that mercy come? Oh, something will drop in our head. Oh, suddenly I can now take it. Huh? What does that mercy means? You know what that means? That we meditate on their qualities because they have already shown by their example. For example, if if we want Prabhupada's mercy, can I say, Prabhupada, please be merciful to me, take me back to Godhead? Will that take me back to Godhead? No, it will not. I have to do what he says. I have to follow his example. I have to follow his instruction. That is the meaning of please, Prabhupada, be merciful to me. Just those words are not enough. The conduct that complements those words are the real deal. So otherwise it becomes just lip service, right? So to pray to Krishna means, to pray to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means, to pray to the devotees means to actually meditate on their qualities and remember that, oh, they went through far, far, far more troublesome things and they did this. So praying for that mercy, okay, let me actually understand and read Prabhupada's books. Let me delve, let me meditate on those teachings, let me meditate on the philosophy, let me do some service, let me meditate on some service and just do it as an instrument. I'm not the doer here. I'm just, so it's always this choosing Krishna and over Maya at all the time in every situation in our life. It's either Krishna or Maya. We have to be intelligent enough to choose Krishna all the time. And we have to take inspiration from the examples of devotees who have chosen Krishna despite all kinds of challenges. I mean, Prahlad Maharaj, certain death, he was facing death basically if he did not accept, if he accepted Krishna. But he still accepted Krishna. And that's when Krishna saved him. So even if he does not save us, it doesn't matter. What is that? Ashlishyava padratam vinashtumam adarshanan marmahatam karotuva yatha tathava vidadhatu lambato mat prananathastu sa eva napara. That is our prayer. Whether Krishna kills me or protects me, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. If I want Krishna to protect me, that's not pure devotion, not pure devotion. Because I should give complete, I should accept that if I want Krishna to do something for me, I am engaging Krishna in my service. I am trying to engage Krishna in my service. Is that what I want to do? No, I want to serve Krishna. So I have to serve Krishna. Why am I asking Krishna to do something for me? Why should Krishna become my servant? So that's the attitude. Okay. So now reading on. I'll just change the screen. So that's why it is said, so long as the divinity of Varshabhanu's youth and nature does not become the subject of our reflection. Youth and nature means, oh, she's youthful. I will just meditate on her youthful body. No. Her service attitude towards Krishna, her mindset towards Krishna, her strength of meditation, her strength of devotion to Krishna. That's what we need to meditate on. then we become stronger ourselves. We will never become as strong as Radharani, no way. But we will become stronger than what we are. And that's the whole point. When we, like when somebody goes to the gym and lifts weights, now he will become stronger than he was yesterday. He will not become the strongest immediately, right? He will not become a professional bodybuilder in one day or in the gym. He will not. But by lifting weights, he'll become stronger. And when he becomes stronger, then he can lift more weights. Then when he stretches like that, more and more over time, he will become stronger and stronger and stronger. But if he says, "Oh, I cannot lift that weight, I'll never lift any weight," okay, then stay weak, stay where you are, or go to hell, go down. Those are the options we have. I mean, what other option do we have? If I don't want to do anything, okay, stay where I am and go to hell. Or if I actually desire my improvement, then I take inspiration from devotees and all the good examples. That's why we should always take note and deeply contemplate any good qualities we see in devotees, or even there are bad qualities sometimes we see in devotees or non-devotees. We should also contemplate how dangerous this quality is. You see, how careful I should be in this. So when time comes, when I face such a situation where my consciousness is disturbed, I can use all these things as, you know, tools to control my mind. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. That's the meaning of Yashtidanena, Swakripa Yashtidanena, the support stick of the devotee's mercy. What is that support? How will they give support? Actually give you a walking stick? No. By inspiring us by their example. Vedegai Jahar Charito. Their charita is full of exemplary um, uh, conduct in every kind of situation. And that is what will inspire us and empower us at meditation. In order to perform bhajan, reading on, in order to perform bhajan, it is essential for the students of the Bhagavat to know her name. So, what is bhajan? Usually, people know bhajan as, sit down and sing. Stand up and sing is kirtan. Sit down and sing is bhajan. Very rudimentary understanding of what is bhajan. Bhajan means to serve. Service is bhajan. Devotional service is bhajana. Bhakti, bhajan, all this is coming from the same bhaj. What is that? Dhatu, or the root word is bhaj, which means service. So bhajan means service, not that I'm singing and sitting and singing. No, no, no. That is one of the items of bhajan. So the first thing is Shravan Kirtan. So in that the name is important. So that's why he's saying in order to perform bhajan, it is essential for the students of the Bhagavat to know her name. Bhajan begins with nama. One cannot begin bhajan with bhajan begins with nama. One cannot begin bhajan starting with leela. Sevan mukhe hi jihva adao. Jihva means tongue. Seva starts with tongue. Chanting the name. प्रथमं नाम्नाः श्रवणम् अंतःकरण शुद्ध्यर्थम अपेक्ष्यम् शुद्धे चान्तः करणे रूपश्रवणेन तद उदय योग्यत भवति सम्यगुदिते च रूपे गुणानां स्फुराणां संपद्यते संपन्ने च गुणानां स्फुरणे परिकर वैशिष्ट्येन तद वैशिष्ट्यं संपद्यते ततस्तेषु नाम रूप गुण परिकारेषु सम्यक् स्फुरितेषु लीलानां स्फुरणं सुष्ठु भवतीत्यभिप्रेत्य साधन क्रमो लिखितः. What is this? Krama Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami. Commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.18. What is he saying? For the purification of the heart, it is necessary first of all to listen to the chanting of the holy name. After the heart has been purified by listening to the holy name, the fitness for the manifestation of the holy form is attained by hearing the recital of scriptural accounts of the divine form. Now, if you notice, the practical application of this principle is set forth by Prabhupada if we see in our Sunday program or Bhagavatam classes in the morning, we always have bhajan first. We always have some Vaishnav bhajan, or even in the Sunday program we have a kirtan first, and then there is the class. So you see, for the if we read that again, for the purification of the heart, it is necessary first of all to listen to the chanting of the holy name. After the heart has been purified by listening to the holy name, the fitness for the manifestation of the holy form is attained on hearing the recital of scriptural accounts of the divine form. So then we can hear the scripture. So Prabhupada also mentioned that by chanting first the holy name, there is a conducive atmosphere is created in which the hearing about Krishna's philosophy will be more easily and readily absorbed by the audience. Therefore, he started and ended classes with kirtan. After the full appearance of the divine form, the divine qualities manifest themselves. So, nama, rupa, guna. So, in this order, they are going. After the full appearance of the divine form, the divine qualities manifest themselves. After the appearance of the divine qualities, due to the characteristic traits of servitors, the knowledge of the distinctive and perfect identification of the devotee arises. See how the progression of Krishna consciousness is. We actually do not understand the value of a devotee until we understand the value of what Krishna is. You see, for example, we read Prabhupada's books. Say, for example, we got the Bhagavad Gita first. I got the Bhagavad Gita first. So some devotee sold me a Bhagavad Gita. I got it. I was reading. So in the reading of Bhagavad Gita, where was my focus directed to in the book? Towards Krishna. I wasn't interested in Prabhupada. I wasn't interested. It's only when I understood the greatness of Krishna, understood means, at my minuscule level, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At least that realization came after first reading of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Conviction came. That Adho Shraddha, some faith came. So, of course, eventually associating more with devotees in Singapore here and reading more and more books and all of the books of Prabhupada, that strengthened more and more. Then I understood how great Krishna, of course, understood means again at my level, and then how much Prabhupada served Krishna. We have to become servitors of Krishna. Oh, how great of a devotee Prabhupada is. Then only the greatness of Prabhupada starts to dawn in the mind. Until then, if you just want to see Prabhupada as a great person, you cannot understand Prabhupada. Without context of Krishna, Prabhupada cannot be understood. We cannot understand. So you see, that's why the order, you see, how? Of course, we are not having a complete realization of the holy name and complete realization of the form, and then only the qualities start. Not exactly like that. We will have a little bit of each of them. Like we understand a little bit about the name, okay, at least theoretically, something about the form, theoretically. We do not realize, but something we understand. And even though we did not fully realize the form or name or qualities of Krishna, we are able to appreciate the devotee, the Prabhupada, and all the acharyas in our succession, and all the acharyas mentioned or all the devotees mentioned in the scriptures. We're able to appreciate them. It's not like that appreciation will come only when you fully understand all the nama, rupa, guna, and dham and all this. No, all these things progressively increase as we increase our understanding or realization of the nama. Then the form is understood proportionately, and proportionately the qualities are understood, but they are dependent on the previous thing. So like the form of Krishna is dependent on the name of Krishna, and the qualities of Krishna are dependent on the form of Krishna. The devotees are dependent on the qualities of Krishna. So in that way, but all of them, as one goes, others also grow proportionately. Understanding. So its pinnacle will be reached when one becomes a pure devotee. Yeah. You see, even when we read Prabhupada's books, what we understand, okay, the name of Krishna, the form of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, and sometimes even the devotees. And slowly, slowly, it begins to dawn on us, oh, how Krishna is so great and how devotees are so great, actually. Um, so, after the full appearance of the divine form, the divine qualities manifest themselves. After the appearance of the divine qualities, due to the characteristic traits of servitors, the knowledge of the distinctive and perfect identification of the devotee arises. Subsequent to this, after the full manifestation of the name, form, quality, and servitor has taken place, the transcendental activity of God manifests itself. Pastimes. For this reason, this account of the successive stages of sadhana is written. Kramasandarbha 7.5.18. Let's actually go to 7.5.18 and see what it is. इतितं विविधोपायैर् भीषयं स्तर्जनादिभिः प्रह्लादं ग्राहयामास त्रिवर्गस्योपपादनं Shanda and Amarka, the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj, chastised and threatened their disciple in various ways and began teaching him about the paths of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. This is the way they educated him. Oh, anyway. Okay, let's go back to the lecture. Therefore, in our contemplation on rasa, therefore, if our contemplation on rasa is not born from an attraction to the holy name, then we are not qualified to study Bhagavan's form, qualities, and pastimes. Some may have attained external mundane perfection in grammar. However, as long as their conduct conflicts with that of realized souls, the topic of the Lord's Raslila will never be grasped by them. This is very important. So one may know the Shastra, the grammar of the Shastra, the words that are there in the Shastra. But if my conduct is not, if it conflicts with that of realized souls, so if I'm not behaving according to the way a devotee should behave, then all the learning will not allow me to enter into the mysteries of the Lord's, not only Raslila, any Lila. We cannot enter because essentially there is no, all that learning is just for some show. It becomes a show. So we should not learn things for showing off. That I'm a great devotee, I know so much. No, that's not the. We have to know Krishna, being interested in Krishna. We should be interested in Krishna. Just like if we love someone, we want to know about that person. We want to know more about that person just because we are interested in that person. So similarly, we want to learn about Krishna because we are interested in Krishna. That's the reason why we should learn about him. Because we want to love him. So, but if I'm not interested in Krishna, I'm just learning for showing off my scholarship, then I'm not interested in Krishna. So all that learning is not to understand or being interested in Krishna, just but interested in myself, my false ego. So if the conduct conflicts, that's why matha neda kapne pada tilak nake galai mala, you know, matha neda kapni pada tilak nake galai mala, দেখতে বৈষ্ণবের মতো আসলে শাক্ত কাজের বেলা সহজ ভজন করছেন মামু সঙ্গে লয়ে পরের বালা. Bhaktivinoda Thakur very nicely mentioned about Kalichelas, apparent devotees who have no behavior, thinking, word, speaking style of a devotee at all. Externally, they may look as devotees. They may all have the signs and symptoms of a devotee. What is that? Kanthimala, tilak on the forehead, very nice dress, shaven head, everything. Dekhte Vaishnavar mata. If you see them, they look like Vaishnavas. Asala Shakta Kazarva. Actually, they are not Vaishnavas, they are Shaktas. Shaktas means those who worship Devi. Why? Because Devi means what? This material world. They worship this material world, materialistic way of life. They are not interested in, they are interested in sense gratification. So they are actually Shaktas. Asala Shakta Kazarvela. Sahaja Bhajan Korchena Mamu. This guy, he wants to do what? Solitary worship of Krishna. All show off. Solitary worship does not only mean alone chanting. Pratisthasha, you know, Shukarer Vishtha. Pratisthasha, Nishtha, what is that? Pratisthasha, Vishtha, Shukarer Vishtha. So there is a nice song, Dushtaman Tumi Kiser Vaishnav. Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura, beautiful song. And it is said there that, oh, wicked mind, what kind of Vaishnava are you? Chastising our own mind. So, Pratishthartare Nirjaner Ghare Tava Harinam Keval Kaitav. You just for some pratishtha, for some fame, for some recognition among people, you are sitting alone and chanting as if you are like big Baba. Did this or not only means sitting and chanting in a bhajan kutir somewhere? No. The definition expands, because if I sit and learn all these slokas, or try to become a scholar, and I may actually quote slokas also, and uh, be knowledgeable, so called theoretically. But if my intention is just to show off my so called erudition, then that is also what is that? Nirjaner ghare. Because my my intention is not to live with other devotees, or to help them, or to serve them, or to live with other people and preach to them so that they may be benefited. No. I'm interested in my own show off. That is Nirjaner Ghare. Not interested in the Jana. How Prahlad Maharaj said? Prahlad Maharaj said, I want to be in the busiest, I don't want to stay in the Nirjaner mountains. What is that? Mauna Vrata. Silence. Vows of silence, and sit in the mountains and do Vrata and big tapasya. I don't want that. I want to be where Jana are there. Where there's a concentration of Jana. I want to be there. Why I want to be Nirjan? So I should help them. I want to take them back also. That is compassion. But if I do it on my own, learning something, but I'm not interested in delivering others, I'm not interested in serving others, then that is Nirjaner Ghare. Harinam Keval Kaitav. Pratishtharatare. So conduct is important. That's why we should work on our conduct. And conduct will be there if there is humility. Which is why in brahmachari life, the first thing we learn is to beg. By begging, we become humble. Yes, we are, engaging them in Krishna's service by taking their money and, giving to Krishna. We are helping them, yes. More than that, we are helping ourselves. We are helping ourselves. We are becoming humble. That is the exercise there. Oh, I can do this, or I can do something else. I can do something more valuable than just begging. No. Just what we read in the article earlier. However much we may be talented, however much we may be expert in many things, if we don't have the mercy of Radharani, Krishna will not accept our thing. Just like gopis, they were so expert dancing with Krishna and all. When Radharani left, Krishna was not interested in their dance and he left them. See, they were expert. But without Radharani's mercy, They have no use for Krishna. Krishna is not interested in them. So similarly, without humility, even if we have many qualifications, if you don't have humility, if you don't have these four things, tolerance, we cannot employ them in Krishna's service. We cannot employ any of our talents in Krishna's service if we don't have these things. This is the entry pass into devotional service. If we don't have this, we won't be able to serve, because the lack of humility, the lack of tolerance will oust us from the domain of devotional service, because we won't be able to live with devotees, because we're not humble, because we're not tolerant, because we're not respecting them, or we want respect from them. These things will kill our devotion, will oust us, will evict us from devotional service. So Krishna will not accept our services. So therefore, it is not that, oh, if I beg, I can bring maybe $10, but if I work, I can give $100. So it is more service if I work, because I don't need to beg. I can give my money. No, that's but the point is not about the money. Yeah, that will money will help. Of course, it will help the temple, and but what about myself? The project here is me. I'm working on myself. How to become a better devotee. Always try to become better. Never settle. Never settle that, oh, okay, I've done some service, okay, finish. Now I'll rest on my laurels. No, no, no. Always better, always be on the toes, because Maya, that's where Maya will come. Once we are a little complacent, that's when Maya will exactly attack us. That's exactly when she attacks us. So never be complacent, and not because out of fear of Maya, but also, do I want to actually serve Krishna better and better and better? Is that not love? Love means my affection should increase, my service should increase. Otherwise, where is the love? And if I want to do that, then I have to follow what Srimati Radharani, following in the footsteps of Radharani. And how to follow in the footsteps of Radharani? Well, Krishna came in the mood of Radharani and gave us the Shikshashtaka. And Shikshashtaka, Trinada Pisanichana is there. Not only that, I mean, all this 8 slokas are important, but this Trinada Pisanichana is very important, because that's where you see the before that is Durdaivam Idrashu Mihajana Namra. I have no attachment for Krishna. But then in the third verse, attachment comes, Kirtaniya Sadahari. From Na Anuraga to Kirtaniya Sadahari, how did that happen? That is the transition. That is precisely the transition. So if I have no attraction for the holy name, if I'm not strong enough, the answer is I have to become all these things. Trinadapisinichara, Tarvarapisashana, Amanana, and Manadena. You may find it trite, you may find it, repeating and not very original. Why are you repeating the same words? Trinadapisinichara, Tarvarapisashana. Well, that is the key. Unless there is a key, you cannot open the door, right? What to speak of all inside, whatever is there? Key, first of all, the door has to be open. That's why it's very important. So, as long as the conduct conflicts with that of realized souls, the topic of the Lord's Ras Leela will never be grasped by them. For this reason, Sri Gaurasundar has explained Nama Bhajan. Along with Taraka Brahmanama, the divine name that grants deliverance, we find the word Hare, and if one does not understand the primary meaning, Vidvad Rudhi, of this word, there will be difficulty. So, if we don't understand the meaning of the word Hare in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then there will be difficulty. Even when we consider the word Rama, many times we are compelled by historical concerns. Repeatedly, allegorical and metaphysical theories, as well as fictitious notion of imposing human nature upon the Supreme Lord, ruin our pure intelligence. Those who lack rahasya jnana, knowledge of confidential truths, and try to be an intermediary for darshan of Radha Govinda will find that knowledge concealed for them. Are you understanding what is being said here? So, Hare, if one does not understand the primary meaning of this word, there will be difficulty. Why are we saying Hare Rama, Hare Krishna? Why are we saying Hare? Because even if you consider Rama and Krishna, here is saying, even when we consider the word Rama, many times we are compelled by historical concerns, repeatedly allegorical and metaphysical theories, as well as fictitious notion of imposing human nature upon the Supreme Lord, ruin our pure intelligence. What is this? Manushim Tanumashritam. Avajananti Mam Mudha, Manushim Tanumashritam, Param Bhavam Ajananto Mama Bhutam Maheshwaram. So, if you don't understand Krishna's glory, then our understanding of Krishna is very stunted. We cannot really meditate on Krishna properly because we don't know about him properly. We consider him as like avatar, some historical personality, whatever, whatever. We are not actually understanding Krishna properly. So that's why it is said here, those who lack rahasya jnana, knowledge of confidential truths, and try to be an intermediary for darshan of Radha-kunda, will find that knowledge concealed for them. So if we become a guru, intermediary for darshan of Radha-kunda, because the guru is actually the transparent via medium through which one sees Krishna, one serves Krishna. So this transparent via medium is the intermediary for darshan of Radha-kunda. The guru is the intermediary for darshan of Radha-kunda. Without guru, we cannot see God. But if I do not lack, if I lack this rahasya jnana, if I am not qualified as a guru, then that so-called guru will, the knowledge will be concealed for the guru itself, so-called guru. So we cannot accept this responsible position unless we are absolutely pure and fully understand Brahmanishtham, absolutely, completely, fully cognizant of the secrets of spiritual truths. Fully, he must be cognizant. So otherwise, we cannot become guru. And how will we become cognizant? Not by some scholarship, by actual mercy of the Lord. Vasta tattva gyan hoy kripate praman. You know this verse? I think Madhya 6.89, I think. So how one will know? आचार्य कहे वस्तु विषय होय वस्तु ज्ञान वस्तु तत्व ज्ञान होय कृपाते प्रमाण knowledge of the summum bonum, the absolute truth, is evidence of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Knowledge of the absolute truth is the evidence of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And this is also explained. अथापि ते देव पदाम्बुजद्वय प्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवन्महिम्नो न चान्ये कोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वन्. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. When? If one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet. So, Vastu Tattva Jnana hoy Kripate Praman. Same thing here. But unless we have the mercy of Krishna, we cannot understand him. Even if we are expert at the end, like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was an expert. Visharada. Sarvabhauma means Sarva, Bhumi. He has conquered. All land he has conquered. Not by army, but by his intellect. That means he had debates with everybody in from all places. He won every debate. There was nobody who could challenge him. That is called Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhumi he has conquered. Sarvabhauma. That kind of scholar, but he was in the beginning. He wasn't a devotee, and therefore he did not have the mercy of the Supreme Lord. He could not understand the Supreme Lord, although he was in his home. Supreme Personality of Godhead was in his home, but he could not understand. Hiranyakashipu, the Supreme Lord was in his palace, but he could not understand. So, Proximity does not mean anything, because actually proximal, I mean, the Lord is always in the heart, but we don't know. But how can we know? When we have the Lord's mercy. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Chiram Vichinvan. So going back to the lecture again. In the Mahamantra, the word Hara, which denotes Varshabhanavi, means Radharani. Hara. Radharani. Of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also said Hare means Hari and Hara also. Hara. Hara means not this is not Hara. Hara means Lord Shiva. Hara means Radharani. Okay. And Hari, of course, is Hari Krishna. So both in the vocative become Hare. Hari also becomes Hare, and Hara also becomes Hare in the vocative. But especially it means Hara, Srimati Radharani. In the Mahamantra, the word Hara, which denotes Varshabhanavi or Radharani, becomes the word Hare in Sambodhanatmaka Pada, the vocative case. See, this is the one. Sambodhanatmaka Pada. In the Mahamantra, the word Rama refers to Radhika Ramana. Sometimes they say, oh, this is Balaram. Prabhupada also said Balaram. And sometimes they think Ramachandra. None of them are false. Here, Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura is saying Radhika Raman. There's Raman, Rama is coming. So Radhika Raman. Rama in the vocative case. So in the Mahamantra, the word Rama refers to Radhika Raman Ram in the vocative case. Those who have not achieved, so Radhika Raman, so okay, let's read on. It will become more clear. Those who have not achieved the qualification to enter into Madhura Rati and have not obtained Rahasya Jnana consider that Hare is simply the vocative form of Hari. You see, those who have not come into Madhurya Ras, they will consider Hare is simply vocative form of Hari. Some even say that the word Rama means Atma Rama, one who is self-satisfied, and go no further than that. These kinds of misunderstandings of the holy name happen if we do not take the shelter of Hara, Varshabhanavi. That's why the name is very important. To understand the name, to understand the person, we have to understand the name. That's why it is said before form, before qualities, the first name. To declare that Purushottama alone exists is to present only half of his true identity. Those words that do not express the other half only mislead us. And you see, when we are cheated of the conception of a supreme divine couple, we will also reject the idea of the non-difference between Shaktiman and Shakti, the potent and the potency. Then whatever small understanding we may already have of Purushottama also degrades and results in the theory of an impotent God. Such mind-blowing, essential teaching this paragraph is. This is so insightful. How deep, you see. See, okay. To declare that Purushottama alone exists is to present only half his true identity. Those words, so because if you see even the Bhagavatam, Krishna is described, the 10th topic of Bhagavatam. The other 9 topics are his different energies, pastimes, and his leela of creation and everything, both have to be there. The Lord and his energy, Shakti, Shaktiman and Shakti. So all the other 9 things are Shaktis or manifestation or effects of the Shaktis or whatever. But the Shaktiman is separate. But without Shakti, we cannot understand what is Shaktiman. Uh, because if we say Shaktiman, but the possessor of um, Shakti or potency, we must know what he is possessing. If we say he is just a possessor of potencies, what is that potencies that he is possessing? Without understanding the potencies, we cannot understand the possessor of potencies. Or potencies. So that's why it is said here to declare that Purushottama alone exists is to present only half of his true identity. That's why we should never worship Krishna alone, always with devotees. Radha, Krishna, Sita, Ram, Lakshmi Narayan, or even Narsimha, Prahlad Narsimha, like that, Lakshmi Narsimha. Those words that do not express the other half only mislead us. When we are cheated of the conception of a supreme divine couple, if we don't worship Radha and Krishna, that means we are not accepting ultimately Shakti and Shaktiman. We will also reject the idea of the non-difference between Shaktiman and Shakti, the potent and the potency. What is wrong with that? Okay, so we cannot understand Krishna properly. Also, we don't see a link between Krishna and his potencies and his energies. So we see everything as separate from Krishna. This is Krishna and this is something else. And that is exactly what Maya is. Ritertham yat pratiyata na pratiyata chatmani tad vidyad atmano Maya. What is Maya? Where were we? Supreme divine, non-different between Shakti and Shaktiman. Yeah, so if we deny the, or if we consider them separate, then this is what the Bhagavatam says, 2.9.34. Ritertham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidyad atmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. So if you see anything as separate from Krishna, or if you see only Krishna and not his energies, that's an incomplete understanding of Krishna. Because Krishna, what does he say? Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. I am the origin of everything. Everything emanates from me. Matta sarvam pravartate. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. So, what is spiritual and material worlds? All his Shaktis. Sandhini, Samvit, Haladini, and here also Durga, and the 3 modes which are Sattvagun, Rajagun, Tamagun. All of these are his energies. So if you don't understand that he is the source and therefore he is eternally connected with his potencies, the wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. The wise, they know this perfectly, but they're not wise. The foolish, they separate. They think Krishna is separate and his energy is separate. That's why in some religions they say, oh God and the devil. Oh God is, all pious and devil is his opposite, his enemy. No. That devil, so-called devil, is actually Maya. Maya is nothing but his maid servant. Her duty is to get us to Krishna in such a way that we won't disturb him with anything material. We will completely forget our material life. Her duty is to punish all the non-devotees. But she is a faithful servant of Krishna. It's not that he's a competitor or against of God. No, she's not. So that understanding is a wrong understanding. So, going back. Yes. So I wanted to say something else. So if I do not see that everything is related to Krishna, then it's Maya. Also, I will not be able to use anything in Krishna's service in Yukta Vairagya because I don't see the relation with Krishna. For example, I can say this phone is Maya. Yes, it is Maya in many ways, but if I use it in Krishna's service, it can become useful in Krishna's service. Oh, newspapers are all Maya, magazines are all Maya. Okay, we will produce our own magazine and newspaper, that is not Maya. So that is Yukta Vairagya. So if we do not see the relation between Shakti and Shaktiman, then we become, what is that? Phalgu Vairagya Kathyate. So you see, these two verses from Rupa Goswami. अनासक्तस्य विषयान् यथार्हम् उपयुञ्जतः निर्बन्धः कृष्ण सम्बन्धे युक्तं वैराग्यमुच्यते प्रापञ्चिकतया बुद्ध्या हरिसम्बन्धि वस्तुनः मुमुक्षुभिः परित्यागो वैराग्यं फल्गु कथ्यते. When one is not attached to anything but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship to Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. So, we have to understand that Krishna is everything is connected with Krishna and belongs to him. That is a complete understanding of Krishna. Then Yukta Vairagya can happen. Yukta and Vairagya. Yukta means to be connected. Vairagya means to be disconnected, to be renounced. So, use it in Krishna's service, and that way stay connected with everything in Krishna's service, but detached from enjoying it for sense gratification. So that is Yukta Vairagya. So we cannot have that perfect vision if we do not worship Radha Krishna, because we will see only Krishna and not Radharani, or see the Shaktiman and not the Shakti, and not have this proper understanding of anything. That's why Radha Krishna is very important. That's the point of that sentence, that paragraph. So going back. So then whatever small understanding we may already have of Purushottama also degrades and results in the theory of an impotent God. Not important God, impotent. So as if he has no potency, no nothing. So that is a very defective understanding of God. The conception of Radha Govinda is the most complete. Discussions of Anugatya Dharma towards Purushottama who exists alone can only terminate in Vatsalya, Sakhya and Dasya Rasa. The topic of Unnata Ujjvala Rasa is not discussed. So those who worship Krishna alone, like Laddu Gopal, they go until Vatsalya Rasa max, or Sakhya or Dasya. But Unnata Ujjvala Rasa, which is Madhurya Rasa, is not discussed among those people who worship Krishna alone, like Udupi Krishna, for example. Only Krishna. So they don't go into Madhurya Rasa. Direct words such as Radhanath, Radharaman, etc. describe his totality and completeness. Words such as Brahman or Paramatma can never establish this. All those who, sometimes people call, especially Telugu people, they call Krishna Paramatma. Krishna Paramatma means they always say Krishna as Krishna Paramatma. Why? Why that Paramatma is coming? So if you see like this, the Paramatma is a different expansion of Krishna, of course, is as good as Krishna. Krishna's expansion only. But you see, the complete understanding of Krishna is Radha Krishna, Radha Govinda, Radha Raman, Radhanath, Radha Madan Mohan. So with Radha and Krishna, that is the complete understanding of God. The masculine and the feminine aspect of God fully represents the complete, the the savior or the worshipped and or the worshipable and the worshipper. Sevya Bhagavan, Sevak Bhagavan. Of course, that is Balaram, but also Srimati Radharani is the perfect servant of Krishna. So, all those who traverse through the kingdom of sadhana bhakti and then the realm of bhava bhakti in search of prema bhakti must realize that the topmost pinnacle of prema bhakti is only found in the divine love of Varshabhanavi and nowhere else. Without her shelter, the jiva achieves very little eligibility, hardly anything. When we pass over Devi Dhama, Viraja river, Brahmaloka means Brahmajyoti, and we cross beyond all the conceptions of opulence found in Paravyoma, the Vaikunthas, as well as the informal moods of friendship and parental affection found in Goloka, Sakhya and Vatsalya. Situated in our eternally perfect spiritual identity and familiar with the topics of Radharaman, then our qualifications will be so great that we will consider ourselves extremely fortunate and our service shall rise to the zenith of perfection. This cannot simply be called realization or aparoksha anubhuti. It is not the aparoksha anubhuti described by the Gyanis. This thing is an extraordinary affair called mohana and madana. These things are known as udghurna, chitrajalpa, and mahabhava. Presently, we reside within our gross bodies, which present many obstacles for us. Even the sensitivity of our subtle bodies causes us problems. You see, very, very deep philosophy. So when we pass over Devi Dham, that means we are completely liberated from material life. Devi Dham means material world. If we cross over Devi Dhama, that means even we become liberated from the material world and cross the bordering river of Viraja river between the spiritual and material worlds and go to Brahmajyoti. And even then we go to Vaikuntha Lokas and cross all those Vaikuntha Lokas and go to Golok Vrindavan. And in Golok Vrindavan, even when we pass the Sakhya and Vatsalya, that means friendship and parental affection, then finally we come to this Madhurya Rasa and especially Parakiya. When we become familiar with the topics of Radharaman, then our qualities will be so great that we will consider ourselves extremely fortunate and our service shall rise to the zenith of perfection. That is where perfection is. And how far, far, far away are we? How far away are we? And okay, this cannot simply be called realization or aparoksha anubhuti because Gyanis have their own understanding of aparoksha anubhuti. This is not that at all. This thing is an extraordinary affair called Mohana and Madana. Now these sound to be like what Mohan and Mahana, Mohan and Madana. What Mohan means illusion, Madan means Cupid, sex attraction, the bewilderment of sex. No, this Madan Mohan Vigraha induces one to actually forget karma, and he irresistibly attracts the purified soul. Irresistibly, that is Madan Mohan, and this is Madana, the transcendental conjugal relationship that intensifies in the gopis and by which their illusion put into this transcendental illusion in which there are what are they udghurna means what I think these loud shouting and crying udghurna. I think that's what it is. Chitra Jalpa, which Radharani did with Brahmara Gita, and Mahabhava, all the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his last 17 years at Jagannath Puri, Antyalila, are all madness, absolute madness, transcendental madness. Sometimes when we read those descriptions, we just can read only. We cannot even fathom. You will experience this when you read those leelas. Um, you just can't fathom. You just have to read, okay, and just accept it. That's all. We cannot understand anything there. That kind of manifestations Mahaprabhu did, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That mohana, that illusion, as he was found in the ocean, floating like a ghost, and the fisherman found him. All this is mohan. So many mad things he did at Jagannath Puri. So that Madan and Mohan, that is a very, very, very high stage. So these things are known as Udghurna, Chitrajalpa, and Mahabhava. Presently, we reside so how far are we from that zenith of perfection? Presently, we reside within our gross bodies. Devi Dham, perfectly, highly bolted and riveted to the Devi Dham. We can't even move here. Completely anchored, which present many obstacles for us. Even the sensitivity of our subtle bodies causes us problems. If the pursuit of our soul is without the unhindered and incessant shelter of Varshabhanavi, we will never find it. So, you see, even the sensitivity of our subtle bodies causes us problems. That's where we are at this point. But we have to come to this point where nothing in this world bothers us, and that's just the beginning, absolute beginning of exit from the material world. We have to cross Devi Dhama, Viraja River, Brahmajyoti, Vaikuntha-loka, Golok Vrindavan, Sakhya, and Vatsalya, and then Madhurya. Then only when we are becoming more and more acquainted with Radharaman, that's when one will reach the zenith of perfection. Now we are where? Riveted to the material world. Come on. So, how far we have to go? And we have to make all that progress in this one lifetime. How much? And we're not taking this seriously. This is a journey that would take millions and trillions of lifetimes. You know, this is such far distance we have to travel. There is absolutely no time. We have such limited time in this Kali Yuga. And in this one lifetime, we have to make it back all the way there, reaching the zenith of our perfection. You know how serious we have to be about this? So it only intensifies, it magnifies, it brings into focus the seriousness with which we have to approach our spiritual life. There's no time to waste. And what do I mean by what is it called? Um, Seriousness. Where does that serious? How to become serious? How to make myself more serious? Okay, to know, stop all joking, stop all laughing and everything. Just become serious. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No, no. Prabhupada was always a very jolly mood. But you know what is seriousness? To take up the order of the spiritual master seriously. It is very simple. We don't have to think, oh, how should I become more serious? What should I do? Take to the order of the spiritual master seriously. Take it very, very seriously as your life and soul, as your life depends on it. If you can't execute the order, it's as if you cannot breathe. You're choked up, you're suffocated. We should feel suffocated if we cannot execute the order of the spiritual master. That's how we should be. It should be our life and soul, it should be our lifeblood. That is what it means to become serious in worshipping Radharani. Because service to Radharani has Priyanarma Sakhis, close Sakhis, and they have their Sakhis, they have their Manjaris. In this way, servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So the spiritual master is coming from that elite circle of Radharani, and he is giving us service how to bring so many people to Krishna consciousness by book distribution and by preaching and by having this movement, by starting temple and engaging people in Krishna's service. So this is our duty. This is our duty. And that's where we have to, of course, our sadhana should be very strong. And we have to incessantly preach. Jare dekha tare kaho Krishna upadesh. The seed of perfection in this one verse, in this one line. Jare dekha tare kaho Krishna upadesh. If we just think about this one line, everywhere we go, Krishna upadesh give. But how can we have Kirtaniya Sadahari? How can we always do this? Kirtaniya Sadahari. When our character is first class. Trinadapi Sunishana Tarurapi Saishuna Marana Manadana Kirtaniya Sadahari. So, for that, our sadhana should be strong. Our hearing, our reading, our chanting, our serving of the Vaishnavas is sadhana. Serving Vaishnavas like a menial servant. Wash the toilet, wash the pots of the temple. Become a menial servant of the devotees. Develop that attitude. So that's where all this comes. Arey, Ishwar Puri cleaned the stool of his Guru Maharaj, Madhavendra Puri, when his body was invalid and was no control over his body. And Ishwar Puri was cleaning up even the stool and everything. Very, very dutifully, very, very chastely he was doing it. And what came out of that? He never thought, no, I'm a great scholar, I'm doing others can do nothing. I'll do something else. I'll do more valuable service. We think the service is valuable. What we're doing for Krishna, that employment of our talent is valuable. No, we just learned. We just learned in this essay earlier that the gopis were given up by Krishna when Radharani was not there. When Radharani was displeased, he was not interested in the gopis. So all their talent, all their beauty, all their expertise in wooing Krishna, apparently wooing, they thought they were completely, captured Krishna. Krishna was not even interested if Radharani wasn't there. So all our talents, all our everything, all our capabilities, everything will be null and void. Krishna will not be interested in accepting. That's why we cannot even employ ourselves in Krishna's service if we don't have the qualities of the strength of character. Bhavagrahi Janardhan, not talent grahi Janardhan, skill grahi Janardhan, time grahi Janardhan. No. Bhavagrahi Janardhan. And where is that bhava? That's what we should work on. We are the project in this. We are our own project. By all our execution in different services, we are the project. We have to improve ourselves. That's the test of how we are progressing. How am I progressing? How enthusiastic I am. Utsaha. Where is my utsaha? Nischaya. How determined I am. And dhairya. How patient I am in executing devotional service. These are the barometer or thermometer by which you can measure the intensity of or the quality of one's bhakti, and all these are directly proportional to our humility and tolerance and respecting others and not expecting any respect for ourselves. So our subtle bodies, sensitivity of our subtle bodies causes problems. So yeah, everybody, it's not that we are away from this, right? We all have problems. So that's where we have to work on ourselves by engaging in Krishna service, by associating with devotees, strong sadhana, reading, chanting, hearing. All this should be very, very seriously done. If the pursuit of our soul is without the unhindered and incessant shelter of Varshabhanavi, then we will never find it. We cannot even find our soul. We cannot even find ourselves if we don't have the unhindered and incessant shelter of Varshabhanavi. Thus, taking the dust from the feet of the best of Rupanuga, Śrī Das Goswami Prabhu, that means Raghunath Das, upon our heads, we earnestly pray. Again, I don't know the exact. Kakubhara. Okay, let me actually see if I can find this verse. Radhika Kumbhara Gangala Yadva. So let's go to I found the diacritics of the verse. हा देविका कुभर गद्गदयाद्य वाचा याचे निपत्य भुवि दण्डवदुद्भटार्तिः. Okay. हा देविका कुभर गद्गदयाद्य वाचा याचे निपत्य भुवि दण्डवदुद्भटार्तिः. Asya prasadama budhasya janasya kritva Gandharvike nijagane gananam vidhehi. O queen, distressed, falling down on the ground like a stick, stammering with words, choked with emotion, I beg you. Gandharvika, please be kind to this foolish person and count him as one of your companions. Stavamala, Śrī Gandharva Prarthanashtaka, verse 2. So, this is the prayer to Radharani. So, let's see how he translated it. O goddess Gandharvika, feeling intense distress, I fall on the ground like a stick and implore you with many words and in a faltering voice to be merciful to this fool and accept me as one of your own associates. So that's the end. First printed in the Gaudiya. Gaudiya is actually a weekly Bengali magazine that Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura was printing. So it was first printed in the Gaudiya, volume 10, issue 11, in October of 1931. It was spoken in the September of 1931, and it was printed in the October 1931. See how fast they were. And reprinted in Śrī Chaitanya Saraswat Matha's periodical Śrī Gaudiya Darshan, volume 4, October 1958. So that is the end of this lecture. Wasn't it so nice? Wasn't it so insightful? Wasn't it so deep? Right? Okay, so any questions or comments? In the beginning, there was no audio. Sorry about that. Krishna. So, CC Adi 4.258. The happiness I feel when meeting Radharani is 100 times greater than the happiness I get from meeting others. So, Krishna is so happy to meet Radharani. See, this is the one. Humility means, this is what Prabhupada said, humility means that you're convinced beyond any doubt that there is nothing in this world, absolutely nothing in this world, not your money, not your family, not your fame, not your gun, not your education, nothing that will save you except the mercy of Krishna. When you're convinced like this, then you're humble. We have faith in all these other things now. That's our real problem. We don't have faith in Krishna. We have faith in everything else than Krishna. And we want Krishna. How does that happen? That's why we have to have our faith more on Krishna. We have to increase our faith in Krishna. That's the whole point of this Krishna consciousness movement. We are not condemning that, oh, you have no faith in Krishna, so how you cannot go back to God. And no, of course, none of us have faith in Krishna. And that's why we have to hear, and then our faith will increase. That's why constant hearing, then our faith will increase more and more and more. And when we serve, then we can see Krishna's hand, how he, arranges our service, how he even sometimes inspires us in so many ways. So that will, connect us with Krishna even more. So in that way, we have to be constantly feeling Krishna in our life. And that happens when we do Shravanam, Kirtanam, and all the other devotional activities with mindful engagement. Mayarpita Manobuddhi. Shubham Shukla is saying, is it useless for sinful people to live in Dham? Yeah. They should not live in the Dham. They should visit the Dham, respect, and go out. Prabhupada said 3 days. Don't stay more than that, because then we'll start offending the Dham. Because they're not there. They should go there. Everyone should go, but then we should also understand the point of why we are going. The real thing is to actually become Krishna. Like you see how Bhaktisiddhānta Sarasvatī Ṭhākura said, let us pray on this auspicious day of Radhāṣṭamī that may she appear in our hearts. May she make her appearance in our hearts. That's the real appearance. That's the real visiting of the holy place. Oh, the Shaibya and this Chandra are mentioned in the Pearl pastime of Raghunath Das Goswami. I mean, of Radha Krishna, but written by Raghunath Das Goswami. Okay. So it must be Shaibya. It cannot be Shaibya, I think. Female Shaibya, I think. 3:14:46 in order to follow in his footsteps, he was his character. This is very nice. So you see, 3:14:46. Okay, let's go there. This is, I think, yeah, Prahlad. You see, this Kashyapa Muni is predicting because of your lamentation, penitence, and proper deliberation, and also because of your unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and your adoration for Lord Shiva and me, one of the sons, Prahlad, of your son, Hiranyakashipu, will be an approved devotee of the Lord, and his fame will be broadcast equally with that of the Personality of Godhead. So the future fame of Prahlad is being described by Kashyapa Muni, and there it is said, Yogair Hemeva Durvarnam भावयिष्यन्ति साधवः निर्वैरादिभिर आत्मानं यच्छीलम अनुवर्तितुम. In order to follow in his footsteps, saintly persons will try to emulate his character by practicing freedom from animosity, just as the purifying processes rectify gold from inferior quality. You see, the point I was making, this is very nice reference. So, the point I was making that we are meditating on these great personalities, on the qualities of these great personalities, that we will at least try to emulate a little bit of what we can. We will push ourselves, stretch ourselves to emulate some of his character. Okay, he was tolerant. Let me be tolerant. Let me tolerate this. I'm not the body, right? They are only offending the body, right? Okay, I'm not the body, so why I should be so concerned? Okay, yes. And Prahlad Maharaj took so much tolerance from his father. What is this? What am I going through? Nothing compared to what he went through. Yeah, okay. So this is what is taking shelter means. So emulate his character by practicing freedom from animosity, just as the purifying processes rectify gold of inferior quality. So we have inferior impurities that can be purified when we associate like this by thinking of these pastimes. That's why it's very important. Why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu studied Prahlad Leela and Dhruva Leela hundreds of times. Hundreds of times. He did that. That much we can learn. Yeah. So service means you must take order from the master. That is service. Otherwise, it is mental concoction. Should we try to meditate on the pinnacle? No. Meditate on the order of the spiritual master and execute it. That's all. Pinnacle will come on its own. Just like you can't meditate on the final recipe product. You focus on the recipe. What you're supposed to do next. That's all you have to focus. Not that I meditate on the final outcome, but I'm what am I doing? I'm just mixing up all wrong things. Then I will not get that final outcome. I can meditate on it all I want, but I will never get it. So I should meditate on the recipe. I should follow this recipe given to me. Then the final dish will automatically come on its own if we follow the recipe. Focus on the recipe. Focus on the order of the spiritual master, which we should be most concerned about at this stage of our spiritual lives. Praveen is saying vocative case in English is the Sambodhana Prathama Vibhakti in Sanskrit. So Vibhakti, okay, Prathama, okay. More than Prathama Vibhakti. So Vibhakti is actually declension. In English, it's called declension. The change of the word. Um, okay. So this is Sanskrit. It was originally a Bengali lecture, yes. And it was even Gaudiya magazine was Bengali. And it was translated into English. Some like that it was. Manu Prabhu is asking. My only question is based on what I heard from this lecture. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, we cannot perform the orders of the spiritual master without his mercy. Now, when we meditate on the order and try to execute it, then the mercy will automatically be there. How to get his mercy? By following his order. Not that unless we get his mercy, when we cannot follow his order. Then his mercy is that he is telling us what to do. That is his mercy. Because Maya is telling us what to do for the rest of our lives. So he is telling us, no, do like this. Do this, distribute books and chant 16 rounds and wake up for Mangalarti, take Krishna Prasadam. Because Maya is telling, she not only is telling, she is giving us, see, so many bakeries are there, so many eating houses are there, so many places are there. Come and eat. I have so many things for you arranged. So Maya is always telling us. So Prabhupada's, Guru's mercy means he will tell us what to do. That is his mercy already. If you just do that, then he will be pleased and then Krishna will be pleased. That's how we'll get his mercy. To do more for him. That's how it is. What is the principal quality that we should meditate on for Srila Prabhupada? You know, Prabhupada said, glorification of the spiritual master means to remember what he did. So we can meditate on what he did, how much sacrifice he did, how much, he, um, all his leela. That's why we should know. Actually, devotees, I'm surprised many devotees have not read Prabhupada's leela, Prabhupada's life, the Prabhupada Leela Amrita. We should read. Why we should not know about Prabhupada's life? Are we not interested in Prabhupada? Because if we are interested, we want to know more. You anything, if you're interested about something, we will want to know more about it. So if you're interested in Prabhupada, we want to know more about him. So when we know more about him, when we read, well, then we see how much he was devoted to Krishna and never deviated 1 second, and how he took up so many sacrifices for our benefit, and how he stressed on how seriously he took the order of his spiritual master. Actually, that's what I wrote in my Vyasa offering this year, which I have not released yet. That more than all the successes, the visible successes that we can see of Prabhupada, that he built so many temples, initiated so many devotees, and so many books, and this and that. Behind all of that, the single most admirable, or not just admirable, it's worshipable quality, is that he stuck to the order of his spiritual master, teaching us how to be a disciple, not in just the time of success, but even when he was an absolute nobody, so called, in the eyes of the world. No one knew him. He had no money. He has no means. He has no place to live even. He was fasting. He was skipping meals to buy paper so that he can print more magazines. And he was distributing, collecting donations. Nobody was joining him. Nothing was happening. Still, he was going about fulfilling the order of his spiritual master. That is the real disciple. He's teaching us how to be a proper disciple, because we are going to face that in our life when we are when we are going to try executing the order of Prabhupada to distribute his books. We are going to face a lot of challenges. It's not going to be a smooth ride. Oh, it's all like a fun ride. No, it's not going to be. Yes, there will be a lot of ecstasy, yes, but there will also be a lot of challenges, and that challenges will actually fuel the ecstasy. That's another thing. But in order to fly through those challenges, we have to be enthusiastic, determined, and patient. These will be tested and tested and tested, battle tested. If we pass the first test, the next level of test of enthusiasm, determination, and patience will come, and the next, and the next, and the next. We'll be constantly tested at all levels. We should still stick. And if you observe Prabhupada's life, he is stuck. Not once did he give up on the order of his spiritual master. So, I mean, there are innumerable qualities you will find in Prabhupada. So, we can meditate on each one of these and enrich our understanding of what a disciple is, what a guru is, what devotional service is, and what sacrifice is, what compassion is, what mercifulness is, what tolerance is, what humility is. All these things, all the 26 qualities of a devotee, we can see in Prabhupada. So, just by how he deals, okay, his qualities is one thing. Also, how he managed, how he practically managed, because we have to manage, right? At some point, our services will increase, devotees will increase, services will expand. At that time, we have to manage those services, manage the devotees who are doing the services. Huh? So, and at those times, how to conduct ourselves without being overtaken by pride and actually do it humbly. That I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the devotees. Because those devotees who are doing the service, you have to serve those devotees. So you are a servant of the servant. That's the manager. That's the leader. So the leader is actually the servant of the servant. So that's how to conduct ourselves. So Prabhupada did all this with humility, with tolerance, with you know everything, all the good qualities. He never at any point the success got into his head or the failure demotivated him from following the order. Never did that happen. He was always steady in every situation. So we should learn how to do that. We should glean inspiration from that. And whenever tough situations come, we should meditate. Prabhupada did this. How can I not do this for Prabhupada? Prabhupada did this for his guru and for our benefit. How can I not do this for Prabhupada and help others by extending Prabhupada's mercy to them? I must do anything, whatever it takes, and stick to the order. Not that, oh, it's all, no, give up the order. No, never. Prabhu, how to gain understanding of Srila Prabhupada's mood of compassion and feeling for suffering soul, which verily makes the inspiration for preaching by acting as his representative. Once heard, like only if we have mercy of Guru could one get to understand in depth of what Srila Prabhupada actually is and feels, and always act in this responsible mood, being his instrument and serve everyone through his mission and vision. So, we just have to read about him. We just have to read about him, his life, fully, all the details. Read about him as much as read about him. Then, even if you read his books, you'll understand a lot of things. If you want to know about him personally, read about his life. The Leelamrita. Of course, there are devotees who will say Leelamrita is not a perfect depiction of his life. There are so many offensive things or so many mistakes or whatever. But it's what we have. At least it's not the best, maybe. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abadhavatyapi naman anantassa yashonkitaniyat what is it? Shrinvanti ghayanti grinanti sadhava. So even if there are so many mistakes, pratishlokam abadhavatyapi, even in every shloka there are mistakes. If it is glorifying the Supreme Lord, people will accept. So with that mood, even if it is not perfect, some devotees say, oh, sometimes Prabhupada wasn't as glorified as he should have been or whatever. Maybe. But still it gives us a very good glimpse of what Prabhupada is. There is a whole series of articles on deconstructing Leelamrita, on how Satsvarup Goswami, who's the author of the Leelamrita, kind of did not extol Prabhupada as much as he should have, or something like that. But I did not go through the entire series. But so there is a group of devotees who think like that. But we can still get a very, very good understanding of Prabhupada's life by reading the Leelamrita. And even there is one book version of it, Prabhupada, it is called Prabhupada. Black color book will be there. So we can get that also and read his life. So take notes. See, we don't remember, right? We will read and then we will forget after some time. Take notes so that we always constantly meditate on them. So, and just engage in his service, read his books, then we will imbibe that mood. And associate with devotees who are actually serving Prabhupada in that mood of preaching. That is important as well. By associating with those devotees who are serving Srila Prabhupada. That's very important. Is there any specific schedule for live classes? Yeah. Wednesdays is for Bhagavad Gita. Friday we have question and answer session with Sunagopal Prabhu. Saturday. I think what you're asking probably is like a written schedule, like when is what. We used to have, we have a document somewhere. We try to make it available on our website. I think it's not available on our website right now. Yeah. Almost all days we have classes going on. Okay. Prabhu, most of the disciples during Prabhupada time did wonderful services within that short period of time. Feel like it's Kripa Siddhi, not Sadhana Siddhi, mercy. So can we conclude, if we get that Kripa from Prabhupada, we could make tremendous progress within a short period of time, which otherwise in this lifetime never possible. So can we pray for that? Absolutely. That's the only way we've got. We actually cannot make it on our own at all anyway. But to get his mercy, we should please him. What pleases him the most? Book distribution. And let's not forget that book distribution does not mean just give the books and that's it, I have done my job. After reading, people will start coming to the temple. Then we have to train them. Train them become devotees. We have to ourselves become devotees. You know, there's this verse. You see, Sanatana Goswami is saying to Haridas Thakur, आपने आचरे केहो ना करे प्रचार प्रचार करे न केहो ना करे न आचार. Some behave very well but do not preach the cult of Krishna consciousness, whereas others preach but do not behave properly. आचार प्रचार नामेर करहो दुई कार्य तुम्ही सर्व गुण तुम्ही जगतेरा आर्ज. You simultaneously, Haridas Thakur, Sanatana Goswami is telling this to Haridas Thakur. You simultaneously perform both duties in relation to the holy name by your personal behavior and by your preaching. Therefore, you are the spiritual master of the entire world, for you are the most advanced devotee in the world. So we have to be like that, achar and prachar. So giving book distribution does not mean, oh, if I sell more books, Prabhupada will be happy. In fact, there was one letter one disciple wrote to Prabhupada because he was a very good book distributor and everything. And then he and I think some other devotees together wrote a letter to Prabhupada. I don't have the exact details. I noted it down. I can't take it out now. So in that letter, they asked him, what will please you most? Because the question was, temple worship or book distribution? Because there was some group of devotees, we should also do temple worship. If you take everybody for book distribution, who will do all the temple duties? They were getting kind of back and forth and kind of disagreements. So Prabhupada many times said book distribution more than temple worship. Book distribution is the most important. He always said like that, right? So this devotee wanted to get that answer so that he can settle the debate once and for all and settle his scores with that Pujari team, temple Pujari team. So he asked Prabhupada, what pleases you the most, book distribution or temple worship? Prabhupada wrote back, he said, what pleases me most is if you become Krishna conscious. The ultimate thing is we have to become Krishna conscious. With all our book distribution, if I don't become Krishna conscious, what is the point? Yeah, there is point. Yeah, some people get the books but it's all about the project is ourself. We have to work on ourselves. So distributing books is one thing. Reading those books is absolutely necessary. And cultivating the proper mood by serving Krishna in the association of devotees, serving the order of the spiritual master. And with that comes all kinds of interactions with all different kinds of devotees. And we have to learn how to deal with different kinds of devotees. All this experience is very valuable. Don't think that, oh, the devotees are not pure devotees, so they make mistakes, so I don't want to serve with them. All these people are, useless people. I'll serve Prabhupada only. That's a wrong attitude. You know, when devotees are misbehaved or what, there is a opportunity that we can correct the situation, or I can learn tolerance in that situation. I can learn humility in that situation. I can learn how to navigate a difficult situation by involving other devotees or senior devotees. Something I will learn Maryada. I will learn so many things, even in the association of imperfect devotees. So there's so much value in that. We should not discount that. And we work towards actually helping everybody becoming perfect. We ourselves, while we are becoming perfect. None of us are perfect, including me, right? So why I'm saying that, oh, they are all not perfect, I will not associate with them. Am I perfect? Then why should anybody associate with me? Why should anybody listen to what I have to say? Why should anybody even listen to me that when I'm when I'm saying, okay, take this book, why they should listen to me? I'm imperfect. So just as people are tolerating me, I should tolerate others. So in this way, everybody grows. That's a proper mood. How to involve everybody, include everybody, and yet and improve everybody. Not that include means, oh, include, never mind, never mind, well, let's put him there, well, let him stay wherever he is, we'll just include him. Sometimes, yeah, some incorrigible devotees are there like that, and we sometimes have to kind of live with them and continue our devotion. Even that is a lesson in tolerance, like that is a lesson in tactfulness, how to deal, so many things we can learn, so many nuances in devotee dealings we can learn when we're in the association of devotees. We should be sticking to the order of the spiritual master, and we will learn so many things. We will learn positive lessons, we will learn negative lessons, what we should avoid, and what we should imbibe. Everything we will learn. What was the question, by the way? Kripa Siddhi. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, Kripa Siddhi, we should pray for that, but we should do our sadhana. And that's how eventually everything comes. Where is it mentioned Guru is principal? What do you mean? Guru. The teaching, the principle of transference of the spiritual knowledge, not the physical body. Shiksha. My last question was about the pinnacle of 8,243 Leela in the beginning and in the middle, end of Leela. Everyone realizes the importance and glory of Sri Prabhupada. What is the question? 8,243. I don't understand what. Pinnacle of 8243 Leela. What is 8243 Leela? The 8243 was a typo from voice to text. Oh, from what? Pinnacle of Leela in the beginning, then middle, glory is manifest in the end of Leela. Well, I don't exactly get what you're asking, but just meditate on Prabhupada's order and get going with it. Prabhupada never waited for disciples to be topmost in character, but asked them to move to field of preaching and then learn devotional aspect through more surrender to the Lord by this seva. Yes. Just like our chanting, we cannot chant when we're pure. Chanting will make us pure and then we will purely chant. Similarly, service will make us pure and we'll be purely able to serve. That's how it is. But we should, I'm saying that we should have achar and prachar means that when our achar is not up to the mark, then we have to work towards it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to perfect your achar and then start prachar. We cannot actually perfect our achar if we don't prachar. and in that we will improve our achar and improve our prachar, everything. But we should aim for that place, aim for that stature or stage where we do achar and prachar properly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I think that's about it. We will end it here. श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय, श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय, अनंत गौड़ वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा।